Richard Drax.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. It's a pleasure to speak in this debate. Just before I start, may I just remind the opposition that the reason we're in this plight is because of the spendthrift ways they ruined our country. 10 years is how long it's predicted it would take to get the country back. I know the opposition doesn't like to hear it, but that is the truth of the matter. Yes, there was a banking crisis too, but don't forget, the people of this country don't forget the spendthrift ways of the opposition. Can I first pay tribute to, I'm not going to give way because there are other people to speak. There are some maiden speeches to be given and I much look forward to hearing those as well. May I first pay tribute to Dorset Police, the Chief Constable and all the officers who serve under Dorset Police. There's another Dorset MP here, which is lovely to see my colleague, and they do a fantastic job, as I'm sure my honourable friend would agree. The aim of the police, in my view, is to prevent crime and to catch criminals. That's it. And I think too often, I welcome my right honourable friend to his place, who is doing a wonderful job, always has, and will be an extremely able minister. And he, I'm sure, would agree with me that the police so far, or to date, have more and more pressures piled on them, from looking after people with mental health to picking up wandering dogs. This is not their job. Their job is to catch criminals and to prevent crime. And a lot of their time is taken doing other tasks. I'm most grateful to my honourable friend for this increase in our funding. Very grateful indeed. But I have to remind him, as he knows only too well, and I have done in the past, that Dorset is near the bottom of the pile. We welcome the levelling up, but more levelling up is needed, and the funding formula, mentioned already by members of the opposite side, definitely needs to be looked at. Minor crime, before I go on to 3 points, and then I'm going to conclude, so I won't be speaking for very long, that the PCC has asked me to raise, and I agree with, but before I get onto that, can I just touch on minor crime? We hear again and again and again the effects of minor crime. Now, as being an ex-journalist for 17 years, I covered these sort of things, and I saw the damage it did to an old lady, for example, who lost all her belongings when a burglar stole her husband's war medals. She died a year later from a broken heart. This is not minor crime. This is burglary, which is very serious, and the effects of it are devastating. And this is why we need more police officers on the beat. I understand the nature of crime has changed, and more officers are now behind the scenes dealing with computer crime, online crime, and all those things. I get that. But that doesn't negate the need for men and women in uniform and not in their yellow jackets. Can we get back in their blue uniforms with the proper hats, please, so we know what a policeman looks like? They stand for law and order, not a whole bunch of children on a sort of trail with yellow jackets all over the place. But we need more officers on the beat so that people can actually see them. The criminals who are about to commit a crime can see them. And that means foot patrols in our cities, our towns and our villages. There's nothing that beats a foot patrol that I know because I'm an ex-soldier and I served in Northern Ireland, and that was our job, to deter the terrorist and, in the event, to catch him in the act, if indeed we did. I'd be delighted to give way to my other friend.
Agree with me, but in tackling crime, the police have spent far less time hounding members of the public for what they may or may not think on societal issues, like the case of Harry Miller and Humberside Police, and far more time taking the side of a law-abiding majority and cracking down an Extinction Rebellion activists like happened last week in Cambridge.
Absolutely concur, but why they stood there, and I'm afraid I'm very forthright in my views, as I'm sure many colleagues will know, why did they sit there while they dug up the lawn? And if I did that, I would lose my job, my reputation, I'd lose everything. They didn't. Why not? This cannot be right. This cannot be right. But minor crime, to go back to my honourable friend, this is why we need more officers to catch these people who are committing minor crimes. It undermines morale in our rural environment, in our towns and cities, and I've seen it. Social behaviour is another classic case in point. We need the police officers to jump on it and jump on it fast. The 3 points I want to quickly make, if I may. We have a huge influx of tourists, as I'm sure my honourable friend would agree. The funding formula does not cater for that, and I'd welcome some clarity when one of the ministers sums up. As part of the Uplift programme, we welcome the new officers. We've got 50. This is very good news. This uplift will take place over a period of 3 years, and we expect another 120, and I hope they come. But the police budgets are only confirmed for 1 year at a time. A multi-year settlement would greatly help forces to plan for the future. And I wonder if perhaps the Minister can expand on that when he sums up. And the final point is the cases of fraud against the older population, which are becoming far too frequent. And sadly, many elderly people, many of my constituents, have been done on the telephone by these awful people who go to great lengths to sound like a bank or whatever it may be. The PC said he's mindful of the current review of serious and organised crime and aware of the negative publicity surrounding the National Agency Action Fraud. Does the government have plans to deal with fraud in a different and more effective way in the future? And can I conclude, as I started, by praising Dorset Police and all the brave men and women who keep us safe both in day and in the night.